Good morning and welcome to another edition of the Safety Net series. This week we are featuring an internal group here at the United Way, our emerging leaders, and then the event that they host each year called Engaging the Next Generation. Before we get started, like we do every week, we want to thank our sponsors who are very, very good to us, and we appreciate all that they do and help us provide to the community. So, welcome, Lauren.
Well, good to be here.
Well, I'm glad that you were able to join us this morning. Tell me what the emerging leaders is.
So the most simple way to put it is our emerging leaders are an affiliate group, a donor affiliate group through United Way. Most of the emerging leaders that we currently have make their donations through their employee, their workplace giving campaigns that they run annually. And when you fill out that pledge card, there's a little line item where you can fill out your birthday. Well, why is that important? We get that question a lot whenever people are filling out their pledge cards. One of the reasons that it's important is once we note that the birthday falls within an emerging leaders category, we are able to make sure that you as a donor are able to be listed as an emerging leader. So our emerging leaders are a young professional affiliate group for United Way. And so that's anybody that falls into the age bracket between 21 and 40. Because that's such a wide range, there's actually two donation amounts. One, of course, for those folks that are 21 to 30 who are, just now getting started in their careers, the amount is a little bit smaller. So it's $125 annually. And if you're looking at that from an employee giving campaign standpoint, if you're paid twice a month, that's about $5, a little over $5 a pay period. And if you are a little bit more established, if you're in that 31 to 40 age bracket, it does increase slightly. So the amount annually is going to be $250. And that's still very affordable. If you look at that again, biweekly pay schedule, that's about $10. So that's assuming that you're paid 24 pay periods, but sometimes people get paid every other week regardless. And so that's more like, that's even a little bit less coming out of every paycheck.
Wonderful. And what do you guys do? Like, why would somebody want to be a part of the emerging leaders?
So, really the group of emerging leaders that we have right now, they're very driven by making the community a better place. Why do they want to donate to the United Way? Well, they believe in the impact and they believe in our community, our Mobile community, and they believe that their gifts make an impact. And in reality, they really do. I pulled some data. We have right now right around 80 emerging leaders for a total of about a little over $28,000 pledged this year. And so if you look at the impact of those dollars, we've pulled some reports and things like that. We can help somebody for around $10, a little over $10. One person can be helped. So if you're looking at what the emerging leaders have pledged and then what that impact is, that's over 2,700 people, 2,700 individual lives that can be impacted by the pledges of our emerging leaders and the gifts of our emerging leaders. And so there is that drive that they have to make a difference in the community. And then you're mingling with people that believe the same things you believe. And care and want to make the same impact that you want to make. And so there is the impact thing, but there's just the legitimate friendship thing that you're talking with and working with people and planning events with people and attending events with people that care about the same thing that you do. And that's making everybody's life here a little bit better and making our community a better place to be. And we kind of along that line, we have several events that we have. So you mentioned Engaging the Next Generation. That is actually, we're moving it to be biannually. So the next Engaging the Next Generation event is slated to take place in the spring of 24. But already this past year, our emerging leaders have gotten together to host a Mardi Gras social. And we partnered with 2 other young professionals groups to host our annual Day of Caring. So we hosted volunteer projects with the Mobile Chambers Young Professionals of Mobile group, and we hosted a volunteer project with Mobile United's Connect Mobile class and their alumni to bring all of these young professionals together to go out, make an impact, volunteer in our community. And so that's really the main focus of the events. They're wanting, our current emerging leaders steering committee really wants to, number one, we want to get the chance to network and know one another and collaborate. And then we want the chance to actually put that in action through volunteerism, through getting involved as well. So that's kind of what I think sets emerging leaders apart from other young professional groups that are in the area, is that their drive and their focus is driven by impact and service.
Wonderful. So you mentioned the 2 events that we've already had this year. What do you what's on the horizon? What do we got coming up?
So our emerging leaders steering committee right now, they are very, very excited for and continuing to do something quarterly. So right now we've still got details pending, but they want to do some additional volunteer projects and maybe even one major fundraiser at some point during the year. So we're still ironing out those kinks. And that being said, that if you are an emerging leader, if you feel like your donation and your age qualifies you to have been an emerging leader, but maybe you haven't received correspondence, reach out to us and let us know, because we're also searching for new steering committee members. And those steering committee members are going to be the ones that make the decisions about what type of events we get to have coming forward, and putting those events together. They'll be the ones to put those events together.
So would you say that reaching out to you is the best way, or is there something on Volunteer Connect that people can find? How would you recommend people taking that next step?
So definitely, if you want to take that next step and get involved in emerging leaders, either by becoming an emerging leader, joining the steering committee, or possibly both, I would definitely say for now, reach out directly to me. And you can do that through email or phone. So my email is lluckie, LUCKIE, at UWSWA.org. And my direct line here at United Way is 251-219-3443. And we'll get you connected and get you an application. Perfect.
Sorry, I had to type that in. I had the other already keyed in, but I was like, "Ooh, I need to."
Awesome. Yeah. And so, reach out directly to me. I would love to hear from you. I know our current steering committee would love to hear from you as well. Right now, our steering committee is made up of, we have 4 people actively serving on the committee, but we're adding one new position, our marketing chair and our social media chair, so that person can kind of help out. So if you feel like you have some expertise in social media, you can do that and help us out in that way. We're also searching just for a couple members at large, that they don't necessarily have to have like a specific job title per se, but they are still acting as that voice to kind of steer the group in the way that, and I think the more voices that we have in that group, the better, because every single person brings something different to the table. And you might have, you as a future emerging leader might have an idea in your head that we wouldn't come up with. So I think adding more seats at the table and more voices is never a bad thing. So we're still searching for just general members at large on the committee. And honestly, like I said earlier, it's just a fun experience. I feel like truly the steering committee at this point, they're friends and colleagues, and they, work in other nonprofits, and they work in small businesses, and they work in large businesses. So and I think that we have about 30 of our emerging leaders. There's about 30 different businesses, 30 plus businesses that the individual emerging leaders are coming from. And they're very, very diverse. So you get a chance to mix and mingle with a different group of people, whether they do different types of jobs and different types of people. So hope that answers that question.
Yeah, it does. That's wonderful. And typically you guys meet what, once a month?
I would say we meet every other month typically
Okay.
for an actual steering committee meeting. And we usually will try to make one of those meetings annually, at least once. At least one of those meetings will be in person, but the
Mhm.
majority of those meetings take place via Zoom and virtually, giving people a little bit more flexibility in their schedules. And they typically last anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes. So it's a short time commitment as far as the meetings. And then depending on what position you might be interested in, that would kind of dictate maybe any additional time commitment.
Sure.
But
Well, that is so much good information, and we hope anyone that's listening or watching this morning that falls within that 21 to 40 age group will consider joining us.
yeah.
The financial commitment is not unmanageable, and certainly when you break it out throughout the year, it is very doable. And I was at the Mardi Gras social, and it was a really, really great event. And day of caring is always, always a good time because you get to see people doing the work in the community with our partners. So
I think it gives us a unique experience to see the dollars in real action,
yeah,
because it's with 46 partners and 211,000 people served. And when your impact is 2,700 people served, what does that mean? And getting your hands actually on an organization and seeing like in real time what their mission is really special, I think. So, and to echo what Leslie says, I mean, we would be honored and humbled to have you. And I know we're all, I mean, I'm grateful to be among the emerging leaders. And I know our group is committed and to making this this community better. So
wonderful. Well, thank
awesome.
you, Lauren, so
Yeah.
much for your time this morning. I'm going to throw up another sponsor graphic because we want to make sure and give them as all of the love that they show us. And thank you again for joining me. And we'll be back next week. And I hope everyone has a great rest of their day.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.